All right. Think about an issue in your life and tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Right? And the card says, fear of the will of God is one of the strangest beliefs the human mind has ever made. And
Okay.
so,
You're going to have to explain how that relates to what I was thinking about, which, of course, is Raven, my child,
okay.
and this issue of her staying or moving out.
All right. That's it.
What?
Is that it? Is that what
That's
you're getting? Is
that's
that
what I thought about. Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out what this has, like, how I'm supposed to know the will of God related to that.
okay?
What
Okay.
fear I have of it.
All right. Here we go then.
Okay.
Okay, that's by the way, that's text page 149, and here's this also text page 160. Okay, fear of the will of God is one of the strangest beliefs the human mind has ever made. Okay, so the ego would say that the will of God and your will are separate, right? So if they're separate, then you're gonna fear the will of God because it might not be your will, right? That's how the ego thinks. And so that's fear of the will of God. It's when you're looking at the will of God through the ego's eyes, through the ego's lens. What are you going to experience? You're going to experience a sense of fear, of feeling like I don't uh, I don't know what's going on, or off balance, or it might be wrong for you, whatever. Okay, that's the ego. Now, if you see it through love's lens, through God's eyes, God's will and your will, they're one, right? So whatever is occurring in your life is what your highest will wants for you. Because what's occurring in life is God's will, right? When you have peace in regards to what's occurring in life, then your will and God's will are aligned. And that's where you really belong, aligned with God's will. And so when you're aligned with God's will, you have no fear. And so it doesn't matter if she stays or goes, because whatever she and you are gonna choose together, it's gonna work out for the best. It's gonna work out for good. Why? Because that's what God's will is. God's will, as we just read in lesson 62, is your happiness. So whatever is going to happen, God is working on your behalf for your happiness. So if she leaves, God is going to find a way to make you happy about that. And if she stays, God is going to find a way to make you happy about that. So it doesn't matter what happens in the world. The only thing that matters is that your will is aligned with the will of God, that you're trusting in God's will for you, which is your highest will. And when that happens, there is no fear, and you're happy and joyful and thankful. And that's who your companions become: gratitude, understanding, appreciation, grace for all. And so that's what it means. The fear of the will of God is one of the strangest beliefs, because fear of the will of God is of the ego, made by the human mind has ever made. And so that's what it meant.
So
And
so there's no wrong choice.
amen. Yeah. There is no wrong choice, because everything will be used by God for good to, in some way, shape, or form, help you and your daughter heal, grow, and awaken. And so when you trust that, you will have peace. When you don't trust that, you'll be looking at God's will through the ego's lens, and you'll have conflict and chaos and confusion. And so conflict, chaos, confusion, and peace are not a result of what's going on out there. It's simply a result of, are you aligned with God's will, which is your highest will?
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right, beautiful. Anybody else want to do the magic box?
Come on, you guys.
How does that work, James?
Okay, just think about any issue you have in your life, and then I'll go like this, and then you tell me when to stop. And these are all sayings from A Course in Miracles. And so you'll pick one, and
All right,
then
I'll do one then.
all right, tell me when to stop. Think
I'm
about an
having-
issue, and then tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
All right. Okay. The opposite of joy is depression. When your learning promotes depression instead of joy, you cannot be listening to God's joyous teacher and learning his lessons. Okay.
Could you repeat the last sentence, please?
Sure, I'll repeat the whole thing.
Oh, awesome.
The opposite of joy is depression. When your learning promotes depression instead of joy, you cannot be listening to God's joyous teacher and learning his lessons. So how does that relate to your situation?
It's taken me like so long to find the right and perfect role. And it's a good message for me because I need to choose joy. I need to constantly make a conscious decision to choose joy, because it sucks to have to go through unemployment for a really long time. That's what it is.
Yes. Okay, so when you're viewing the world through the ego's lens, the result is going to be some sort of depression, some sort of conflict, some sort of confusion, some sort of chaos, some fear. Now, when you look through the love's lens, when you trust in the teacher, aka the Holy Spirit, aka Jesus, God, aka love, when you trust that, you know that everything in your experience is in one shape or form here to help you grow, heal, and awaken. And so when everything is here to help you grow, heal, and awaken, what's the result? A sense of appreciation, a sense of peace, and a sense of joy. And so if you're feeling less than joyful about any situation in your experience, or appreciative, or trusting in God, then know that you're allowing the ego to think for you. And that's why you feel depressed, because you're not even thinking for yourself. You're allowing the ego to take control of your mind. The ego takes control of your thoughts, and therefore it takes control of your mind. And if it has control of your mind, then it has control of your life, which means you're basically just a little zombie following the ego. And then you wonder why you don't feel fulfilled, because you're not being or doing what God created you to be, which is to be the light of the world. And a way to become the light of the world is by learning to trust the divine design, which is what's the divine design? The design that you have co-created with God for your life. And because God is perfect love, everything here is here to help you become the true you, to help you align with the truth within you, so that you can shine bright. And when you realize that, and when you start to trust that, then depression fades away, frustration fades away before your light and understanding.
We gotta go, guys. Good night, everybody.
All right, brother. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe.
Bye, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you.
Yes. And so whenever you start to judge yourself or your journey, Will, instead of supporting those delusional thoughts with your time, focus, and energy, and thus making them a bigger part of your life and experience, make the conscious decision to stop those thoughts. Remember, those thoughts do not belong within you. You're not here to, oh, Will left. I guess he was joyful.
He is back.
I thought I made the Will depressed for a second. Anyway, Will. Yes. If anytime those dark thoughts come to your mind, that try to put you down for whatever you're experiencing in life, decide to stop fueling them with your time, focus, and energy. Stop that line of thinking, and then use those thoughts not to dive deeper into the darkness, but to trigger in you the decision that you're going to trust God more. I'm going to trust God more with this situation, and you'll see that the more you trust God with the situation, the more peace you will have, and the more peace you will have, the more grateful you will become. And then when peace and gratitude become your companions, you'll have a happy and joyful day.
You know, I've this entire year I've been has been really a practice, trial by fire practice of Course in Miracles in a sense of oneness, because I think, let's just say, for example, I was independently wealthy, right? And, there were no financial pressures or reminders of the pressures of the 3D world. It would be kind of more of a, let me explore what this would be, or, I think it would be easier to appreciate the time off and be able to do other things. But of course, so it's interesting to be a part of this experience and, feel very real, very scary financial pressures and at the same time be reminded that this is all an illusion, right? And so, there's so many other things that come to like a prosperity consciousness, and like not being like caught in that scarcity mentality around lack and loss. It's like which is further separation from God. So it's really, really interesting experience, and I've lately have learned to thank God for it. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this, because I feel like I'm on the accelerated, like master's level program for practicing oneness and remembering, to try to go back to level 1, because if I was independently wealthy and could take 3 years to find myself, right, I don't think I would have the same impetus, right, to cultivate peace the way that I have had this year. So, and I think, with having more peace, I'm able to find more joy. I think joy to me is still sort of predicated upon having peace. And so I don't know if there's any insights around that, but I feel like it's really about more having peace. And yeah, like you said, I love what you said about, I didn't catch everything because my internet is wonky, but like trusting more in God, which is, so easy and yet so difficult at the same time.
Yeah, okay. So whenever a difficulty comes, the ego is going to it's going to try to put you down for it, right? It's going to say you haven't read enough spiritual work, you haven't done enough spiritual whatever, you're not smart enough, you're not wise enough, you're not lucky enough, and you're not whatever enough. That's the ego's thinking, okay? But once you align your mind with the mind of God, you know that perfect love would never offer you something that you could not handle and overcome and then use for good in some way, shape, or form. And so even experiencing financial pressures, God knows that you're going to be able to handle that and overcome that, and then have that life experience as spiritual tools in your tool belt to help others through those kind of experiences. And so you're always being prepared to be somebody's answered prayer. And so you'll find that whatever it is that you go through, you will get through, and then you'll have that life experience to offer others a way out of the darkness and back into alignment with the light in them. And when you start to help those people who are going through what you once went through, when you help them heal, and when you help them have peace in regards to their financial pressures or whatever, then you'll see what you went through it in the first place. And then you'll see the beauty of your whole life experience.
James, did you write that in one of your books? That you're always preparing to be someone else's answered prayer? That's so beautiful.
Thank you. I'm not sure, but if I haven't,
well, you should jot it down somewhere and put it in one of your books, because it's really powerful.
All right, thank you. Christina, would you like to play the little game, or are you still cleaning your kitchen?
You're
That's where
making me
she
laugh.
finds her
I
joy.
would like to play the game, except I'm not gonna, it has to do with a health condition, so that's all I really want to elaborate in regards to it.
Okay,
So,
that's fine. Just tell me when to stop.
oh. You can stop.
Oh, Jesus. Right at the end. Okay. Workbook, page 50. When any situation arises which tempts you to become disturbed, say, in quotes, there is another way of looking at this. And so, anytime you feel disturbed, and for any reason, health-wise or otherwise, just remind yourself, okay, I feel disturbed. Why do I feel disturbed? It really isn't because of anything that's happening in the world. It really isn't. It's because you have decided, unconscious as it may be, not to trust in God fully.
Right.
And so
I believe that.
okay. And so the only reason why we feel disturbed is because we've decided that in some way, shape, or form, our ego's plan for the universe makes a lot more sense than God's plan for the universe. And so when that happens, we lack peace. And so all we have to do is decide, okay, I'm feeling disturbed about X or Y because I'm not trusting in God. So let me now place my practice. When those dark thoughts come in, I stop them on their tracks. I don't give them any more of my time, focus or energy. And I instead use this moment and use it as a sacred moment to put my faith in God's plan, which, as we said before, God's plan for your life and your highest goal for your life are actually one. And so in some way, shape, or form, you and God decided to go through this for whatever reason that you have decided to go through it. But it will be used for good. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I believe that. Thank you for sharing that. And as you were sharing, what comes to mind is just fear, even with what Will was saying. Like in the end, it's just being scared. And am I leaning into courage and trust and faith, or am I leaning into fear? And really, that's all it is. It's like I feel like that little girl that's scared that I won't be loved, or I'm not lovable because of XYZ, or I'm gonna be alone and abandoned. And all of those things I know are not true. It's just when I fall asleep, spiritually speaking, it's as if I lose sight of that. And it's almost like I'm able to observe myself fall into a lower state of consciousness. I always mess up that word. And it's like I'm in it and I'm like, you are asleep right now. You are asleep. And it's like, and I'm asleep. I'm very asleep. And then when I have those moments where I'm awakened again, I'm like, oh, I was just scared, but it's interesting, like when you're in it. And I'm sure we've all had those experiences. But thank you. Can you send me a picture of that card, please?
Yes, I will, if I find it.
Christina, I think it's amazing that you can observe yourself and recognize that you've fallen asleep
Thank you.
while you're in it. You know what I mean? Because that's a really, I don't know, just the ability to even see it and know it is pretty impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, I think it's having fallen asleep enough times. You know what I mean? That you kind of like watch yourself and you're like, I'm in it and I can't get out of it. And I'm in it. And you're just kind of waiting for the wave to pass. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. So anytime you lack peace, you're in essence asleep. So if you lack peace, then figure out where your thinking is out of alignment with the mind of God. And remember that God always has your back because He, being perfect love, He always has your back and you will always be okay, no matter what the ego says.
Thank you. Oh, I have to actually take this call. I will have to jump off. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you, Wendy.
You're
And God willing, we'll see each other maybe tomorrow in Christina's class.
Yeah, and thank you. I appreciate everything. And I
Got it.
love that you're doing topics with joy and happiness in them.
Always.
Yeah, I just enjoy them.
Okay,
Have a
great.
good night. Thanks, James.
Okay, bye-bye.